How's it going today, guys and gals? My name is Gene, and welcome to this week's AA meeting. Before we dive into today's topic of Attack on Titan, let me just let you all know that the Attack on Titan live stream is still coming next week. I'm just doing some research on how to do a successful live stream before I go out and embarrass myself. Originally, I was going to talk about the scene I liked in particular from this chapter, from chapter 130. If you haven't seen that video, which I'm sure all of you have, but if you haven't, I'll put the time card now if you want to catch up. I wanted to discuss with y'all today about one man's journey. And no, not this man, or this man, but this one right here. Yes, I wanted to talk about this bird's journey as Isayama depicted to us the bird flying from where the anti-Eren squad was sailing to the shores of Marley. During this duration of flight, we were showcased memories of Eren, and honestly, I thought it was a beautiful transition. However, this bird got me to thinking, why does the pattern of flight look familiar to me? Then it finally hit me. Isayama and Studio Wit have showcased birds of all sorts, and if you know, these two both like to foreshadow events in their work. And that is why today I wanted to have a community discussion of what could the use of birds and flight have to do with the series. My research started remembering seeing the geeses in the opening shot of the anime adaptation. It's a unique sight, and if we remember correctly, later in that episode, we see visions Ymir was feeding Eren, showcasing the death of Hannes and his mother. Rarely scenes in the series have been placed for no reason. Shoot, think back to Connie shooting Samuel in chapter 128. A lot of people don't recognize him, but because I'm low-key obsessed with the show, I knew it was the guy who fell in season 1 and had to be caught by Sasha. So with the amount of time that had passed, we should know the meaning behind these geeses, right? Well, wrong, because we're approaching the final season. Nothing has been shown representing this other than more birds. The closest thing I found to discussing this theory was a Tumblr page discussing this. But their theory ends with the geese representing Eren and Mikasa. And you guys know I like a good ship, but I don't think that is the case. So I did the next best thing and went to chapter 1 and tried to locate these geese. But they weren't there. This isn't particularly uncommon, as the anime has done a few things different from the manga, like Eren going berserk mode in the anime. If I remember correctly, however, Isayama stated that the anime is canon, like the official canon. But even though I didn't find the geese in chapter 1, I did find two symbolisms of birds. First one being, once we are shown the Colossal Titan, we see everything shake, including this sign with a bird statue on top of it. Yes, you can say it's just a sign, but remember, nothing goes unchecked in this series, and now that I'm writing my script, my conspiracy theory is telling me that this is literally Isayama giving us a sign to what the ending will hold. Second thing about this chapter that represents birds is the ending, where Eren discusses being trapped in a birdcage, meaning the walls the Titans are entering from. Obviously, you guys are telling yourself that the symbolism in that is just being trapped in a cage, and I agree with you, but the more I kept digging into this rabbit hole, I learned something. One, there is an OST titled Bird in a Cage. And you want to know what song is played in the background when Eren transforms to his Titan the first time? That's right. Like I said, things don't go unchecked in this series. Also, the next time you watch the anime or read old chapters of the manga, look how many times Eren looks towards the sky. He does it quite frequently, and my theory is the sky is free. No obstacles like walls that can hold you back. You can travel from one area to another without consequences, like the bird in chapter 130 did when it went from Hanji's location to Eren's location in a matter of a couple panels. The more birds we see in the series are related to the openings, and every time we're showcased a bird, it always followed by the symbol of the Scout Corps, the Wings of Freedom. I tried to find a direct meaning behind why the Scouts use the Wings of Freedom, but every time I search, I'm just led to the video game. Obviously, this is the part of the military Eren joined, and I'm not saying Eren just joined because he saw the Wings of Freedom and was drawn to that. We all know his reasoning. I just find it unique and parallel to the use of bird symbolism. Finally, I mentioned this in my previous Attack on Titan discussion theory in Falco and his representation towards falcons, with his jaw titan becoming a falcon jaw titan. If you want to see that particular breakdown, click on the time card above. But the gist of that video discusses the surprising strength towards birds and their relations to dinosaurs, which, if you remember back in the third opening, several scenes with dinosaurs were showcased. We have more use of birds and the idea of freedom and flight. And speaking of the idea of flight, if you remember correctly, who had an interest in flight? Aaron's father, Gresha, when he would go see the flying ships with his sister, which their fascinations led us to the path we are on today. Because if Gresha didn't chase the ship with his sister, the sister wouldn't have died. Gresha would have just lived his life without a desire for revenge, and Kruger wouldn't have seen the hatred in Gresha's eyes, which led Kruger to decide who he was going to pass his titan to. Everything is connected. And currently, I'm running through every chapter and grabbing every symbolism of flight and birds as I can. Ultimately, I think the final chapter of Attack on Titan is going to have Eren Yeager, destroyer of the world, become a bird. I'm only kidding, of course, but let's start a discussion. What do you think all this symbolism has to do with the story? And do you all think it plays some role towards the end? Or do you all think it's just a jet fuel can't melt steel beams talk? Let me know in the comment section below. I don't know why. I can't just stop looking at this picture, and I feel that there's a message for us here. Anyway, that's going to conclude it for me today. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button. And if you don't want to miss another meeting, please consider subscribing. If you like these ideas, please share them with your Attack on Titan friends. And try to go birdwatching in the series. This has been Gene with Ascension Anime, and I'll see you all next time. Ciao.
スタープラチナザ・ワールドズギューンなんと、ジャンプ漫画史上最も奇妙な漫画と称される